Hello everybody, welcome back to Mecha Rewatch. We're here with more Gundam Wing. I'm Cossack11 and with me as usual is Lawn Dragon.
Hi.
And we just got done watching episodes 10 and 11 of Gundam Wing. These were
Good episodes.
Good episodes, yeah.
These episodes officially caused the show to pass the Bechdel test.
Yep. And these are the episodes that caused the show to pass
might be
the
the
Bechdel
only
test.
episodes that do.
So, episode 10 starts with Trey's landing at a castle, and he notices tall geese on the, as he gets off the plane, mentions how majestic it is.
Yeah.
And it is. It's a majestic
It's
suit.
cool. It's taller than all the other mobile suits.
Yeah. And how he has nothing but confidence that Zex is the right choice to pilot it.
Yeah, Lady On has some concerns that they're, showing Zex too much favor?
But she's worried he'll get an attitude.
Yeah.
Lady Un does not like Zex and Noin at all.
No, she doesn't. She's just become more and more, confrontational, I guess, as... I mean, she's just going mask off. That's really what's happening here. As we'll see in this episode, she really goes mask off.
Yeah. Also, so they go into the castle. They exchange some pleasantries outside the castle, and then they go into the castle to convene. And it's Trey's, Zex, and Noin.
Yeah.
All in Trey's office.
All in their, dress uniforms with the half capes.
Yep. And Trey's expresses, you guys did a good job with, your recent campaigns. Excellent work, as usual. Lady Un talks about their strategy for...
No, not yet.
Not yet. Well,
Lady Un is Zex and Noin come with me.
Well,
and Trey's is
well, yeah.
I actually have to talk to Zex a bit more. And she's like, fine, Noin... Get over here, snap to it. She's very hostile. She's extremely hostile.
Yeah. Then Trey's basically is like, Zex, you completed all your, ambitions.
You did it. You completed your revenge. You can, take your mask off now.
You can be done. You can retire if you want to.
Is this a discussion of Zex's name?
Yeah. Because he dead names Zex.
Well, before that, though, he's are you the Lightning Baron or the Lightning Count?
Yeah.
And then...
Zex doesn't really say
Zex is
anything
it doesn't matter.
He's like...
It's a stupid nickname.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you take your helmet off. And he's like, no, I'm gonna leave it on because it, I'm still full of hatred and it symbolizes my,
It symbolizes the fact that he is not adhering to peacecraft ideology.
Right, that I don't feel like I'm the person who is under the mask. I feel like I'm the mask now, basically.
Yeah.
He's Batman. He's got full Batman.
Full I am vengeance.
Yeah, I am the mask,
Yeah. And then as he's walking, notably he expresses that he wishes to continue serving under Trey's.
Right, yeah.
And then as he's walking out, Trey's dead names him.
Yeah, Trey's is like, oh, okay, Milliardo Peacecraft. And he's like, don't call me that.
Don't dead name me,
And then Trey's is like, I'm gonna call you that if I feel like it.
Yeah. And you're gonna remove that mask someday.
Yeah, and... okay. I mean, this is building up more of the rift between Zex and Trey's. They've done this coup together. Their subordinates don't get along. They kind of get along, but there's a distance building there.
Yeah.
Notably, not with Trey. Trey really thinks he can trust Zex.
He thinks Zex is his bestest buddy.
Yeah, and Zex is it's funny, right? Because why would you trust the guy who's been secretly carrying out vengeance for 20... What if he secretly vengeances you? That's literally his thing, is performing secret vengeance.
You see, Trey's has done all of the calculations and has masterfully politically maneuvered so that he will never be the target of the vengeance. Apparently.
Okay.
Well,
we'll see how that works out for him.
We'll see that doesn't work that way, but it certainly seems to be what Trey's thinks.
Trey's definitely thinks that
this is Trey's biggest miscalculation in the series, is that he is for a long time, for a significant portion of the series, he is certain that Zex is 100% on side for all of his shenanigans.
Yeah. Trace has clearly never heard the phrase, if they'll cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. Like, just...
Yeah. And that's when we get to the briefing that Lady Une is conducting. They are transporting the new Taurus mobile suits to Siberia for an upgrade package, essentially.
Yeah, more or less. And also just to keep them safe, there's concerns with security at the Lake Victoria base.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, jeez.
She does use that to unsubtly dig directly at Noin.
She does. There's a lot of that.
She does spend a significant portion of this briefing, like, just passive-aggressively sniping at Noin and Zex.
Well, Noin just has to kind of stand there and take it because it's a briefing.
Well, and as all the other officers are probably just awkwardly standing there, like...
But most of the content of this briefing is she's going over the capabilities of the Gundams.
Notably, because Zex says, since most of this trip will be under the Oz security cordon... the Gundams won't attack, and she goes, no, I want them to attack.
Yeah, I want them to attack. Our goal, this is actually, these Tauruses, they're doing stuff with the Tauruses. They're really just bait for the Gundams. They're just trying to bait the Gundams so they can kill the Gundams. That's what Lady Une's trying to do anyway.
Yeah, Lady Une is using the Tauruses as bait for the Gundams.
Right.
Lady Une is bad at leadership.
Yeah, she is. She's not a good commanding officer. She just kind of... We'll get more of that throughout this episode, where she just doesn't. Trace is a bad guy, but he leads well for the most part. Lady Une just can't.
Notably, because earlier we did forget to mention that Lady Une takes exception on the fact that Trace is thanking his own soldiers for doing a good job.
Yeah,
and that they are accepting his thanks.
Yeah, when he thanks. Again, this is more of this hostility with Zex and Noin. Right? He thanks them for doing a good job, and she's like, he shouldn't have to thank them. It's like... And
they have the gall to accept his thanks.
Yeah, and it's like, they're being nice, and he's being a good commanding officer.
Like,
notably, specifically, in fact, to a subordinate whose loyalty he knows he needs to keep. Like... Yes! It's just so... weird. I think that's what she's mad about. Mm-hmm. Like, she's
she's jealous of Zex.
Right, she's essentially jealous. She's jealous that Zex gets, like... Basically, she's jealous that her own dogged loyalty means that Trace never has to be nice to her. Mm-hmm. Right? She has the classic issue of, like, I'm so rabidly loyal that I will never, like, betray you, and therefore the person she's loyal to also never needs to be nice to her.
Right.
Which is, digging her own grave there.
Mm-hmm. So, this is when we're going to cut to all of the Gundam pilots in sequence getting calls from their COs.
Yeah, from their secret order givers.
We need to... These Tauruses are equipped with, like, the ability to potentially go off the rails unmanned and slaughter civilians, essentially.
Yeah, it's weird. This is like the Tongis, right? They apparently learn from combat data and have the ability to, like, override their pilot's command, which would be bad if they chose to just start, like, murdering people, I guess. And again, they're developing AI. They don't say it that way, but that's what's happening here. Is they're developing these, like, combat AIs that, again, everyone is pretty sure will turn evil immediately, right? Like, it's not even overly subtle. It's just like, everyone's like, yeah, if you build a combat AI, it'll immediately just start murdering civilians. Why? That's
just what combat AIs do. Yeah, Heroes at School, he gets a personal Skype call from Dr. J.
He sure does.
Troa's in the woods, he just gets a phone call.
That's true.
And then
when we see the Gundam pilots going over, like, which of the two convoys they're going to attack.
We didn't mention this. They're splitting the convoy up.
There's an air route and a ground route. Yeah. We'll find out that the ground route is a train. That's good. Trains are fun. Yeah, so amongst the pairs of Gundam pilots, each one is going to go after an air target, the air target or the ground target. Wing is going after the air target, obviously, while Duo in Death Scythe is going to go after the ground target. Catcher's going to go after the ground target with the Magwonaut core. and
Troa
Troa is going to go after the air target with heavy arms, which is interesting because, I mean, Wing Gundam made sense for the air target. Heavy arms, I mean, I guess has missiles. We'll find out. It actually has limited flight capability.
Yeah. And then Wu Fei decides to abstain from...
Wu Fei, doesn't even get his orders because he's decided to, stand in a ceremonial robe in the middle of a lake and,
stare longingly at his Gundam.
Stare at his Gundam and ask it to pronounce judgment upon him for his failure.
Yeah.
Good job, Wu Fei. Whatever.
Okay, good. Wu Fei won't be at the...
I mean, it wouldn't have helped if he was there, as it turns out, but whatever.
No, it wouldn't have. So then we cut to Relena at school as everyone's kind of like, oh, did you hear Duo?
Yeah, did you hear Duo and Hero are leaving school?
Again.
Yeah, because this was a plot point 3 episodes ago. But this appears to be a different school, because they have different uniforms.
They have different uniforms. This is a different school. Relena followed Hero to this
Hero switched schools to a school that was closer to a military base he wanted to blow up. And then Relena followed him to that school that Duo also then enrolled in. Again, Duo doesn't even need a place to stay. He has his base.
He has outer heaven.
But he just also enrolled in this school, I guess, to play basketball. And
I mean, look, you gotta get your hoop time in,
right?
And he was probably sick of dunking the mechanical staff
and now,
Mother Base.
But yeah, so they're leaving the school again because that base has been blown up, and the students are like, we didn't even have enough time to get to know them.
It's that was the point.
That was the idea. They're secret commando spies.
Yeah, with high-tech war machines.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we cut back to the war room.
Yeah.
Has this big holographic globe on it.
It sure does. It's a lot of fun.
Lots of people. It's like the XCOM.
Yes, they have the XCOM command globe.
With all the people, complete with all the interns sitting around it, and then knowing who's also sitting at one of the desks,
and who looks different because she's allowed to have hair.
Yeah. Also, notably, because they have deployed Zex specifically to counter Wing Gundam.
Yeah, he's in the Tallgeese. He's gonna fight Wing Gundam. There is a brief discussion of Noin is well, I'll back him up. He can't go alone. And Un is no, you're not allowed to. You have to be in the command center. Which turns out is a good thing. But
and Zex notably says, no, this is good. We want someone on our side in the command bunker.
in the command bunker.
We do not want just Lady Un in that command bunker.
And it turns out he's very correct.
Yeah. And they start getting, the alerts.
Yeah,
that
there's a fight. They're being attacked.
Yep.
There's also a discussion of Lady Un is my plan can't fail. And we don't know why that's the case yet, because it doesn't sound like her plan is any different than anything else anyone has done to fight the Gundam so far.
Yeah.
And none of that has worked. So it is unclear at this point why she's so confident she can beat them. Right.
That will be elucidated on later.
Yeah, we're going to find out. But right now, she just seems kind of stupid and overconfident.
Yeah.
Right. Why do you think this plan will work? Your plan in the briefing was shoot them more. Right? It's not.
Yeah, it pretty much was just shoot them more. It was because the plan for Wing Gundam was draw it into an AA zone and shoot it more.
Right. The plan for Shenlong was engage it at range and watch out for its left arm.
The one for Heavy Arms was run it out of ammo and then shoot it more.
Heavy Arms is particularly the killbots have a pre-programmed kill limit.
Yeah. Well, and then they don't even mention a strategy for Ketra.
You skip because that scene is cutting between them, and Ketra just gets skipped over. We don't know what she said about Ketra.
Presumably it was shoot it in the back across the railroad tracks and then have a train run over
because that's what happens.
Well, that's what's about to happen. So the attack starts with the Magonaut Corps attacking the train.
Yeah. Attacking the trains escorts.
Yeah, attacking the train's escorts.
And winning.
Winning handily.
Kill them pretty handily. Then there's a surprise pop-up gun from the train. It shoots Ketra.
Yeah, there's a surprise pop-up gun gun from the train that shoots Ketra in the back, and Ketra falls across the railroad tracks, and the train
Gonna
is
run him
speeding
over with a
towards
train.
him. He's looking on in shock, and then Duo
shows up and just like
rips
the train off the tracks. Like physically just grabs his arms around it.
He suplexes the train.
Suplexes a train.
We're Final Fantasy VI now.
Right.
We're suplexing trains.
And they're like, Ketra's like, oh, well, thanks for saving me. And then they're
Duo's like, yeah, but this is the decoy.
But this is the decoy. What? And then a bunch of Aries pop out of the train.
Well, not just Leos. A bunch of Leos pop out.
Yeah,
all these doors pop up on the sides of the train cars, and Leos start. It's oops all Leos.
Yeah, it is oops all Leos. Which, okay, sure, whatever.
So then we cut to the air attack.
Yeah, where Heavy Arms shows up, like, launches out of its carrier mid-air.
Well, so the carrier shows up first, and they're like, it's an enemy, or it's a carrier.
Yeah.
Drop the Ares, start shooting it down.
Yeah.
Because they've cottoned on to the Gundams showing up in their own carrier.
Yes, they sure have.
And they're in the process of shooting it down. It's like smoking and stuff, and that's when Heavy Arms just rips out the top of it.
Yeah.
And then boosts away.
Yeah, just kind of shoots them down. Kind of uses this weird like rocket. Mm-hmm. It's not really flight. It just kind of lands
it's a jump
slower.
Jet. It's a jump jet. He uses jump jets. Notably, it makes sense for him to be attacking at this point with the Mecha.
Yeah, they are like about to land and resupply because they apparently don't have like in-air refueling. Sure, whatever.
And that's around when Hiro shows up to also start shooting at aircraft.
Right. And Zex is like, aha, my target. I will engage him in
a worthy opponent. Our battle shall be legendary.
It basically is.
Yeah.
It's weird. That's usually Wu-Fei's line.
Usually, but in this case, Zex is like really keen to like go mano-a-mano with Hiro.
Yeah, correct. And also the Tuggies has apparently stopped killing him.
He notes that, notably, he says he can beat Hiro without using its full capabilities.
Yeah, he does.
He is holding back on the full throttle with the Tall Geese.
Weird that he didn't do that before, but okay.
He just didn't know.
Didn't know it had a medium setting.
Yeah,
all right. He could have saved what's his name.
Could have saved Otto.
Yeah, Otto could have lived if he had known that you can set the Tall Geese to medium.
Yeah. Poor Otto didn't realize that there was a medium setting.
Just didn't.
Look, the label had worn off, and the label had worn off, and no one had the user manual when they were doing the refit.
It's true.
And they just suddenly Zex, realized, oh, there's a bit of a hitch when I'm pushing this throttle forward. What if I stop at that hitch?
Yeah. What if like it goes to 11, but maybe I can leave it on 10, and the audience will have a better experience.
Yeah.
And
they get into a dust up, and it's a good fight.
They sure do. They shoot each other a bit. Tall Geese is like kind of winning.
Tall Geese gets its arm cut off.
Well, yeah, but Tall Geese is winning before. Like he gets shots on.
Hiro, it's an even fight with Tall Geese slowly starting to kind of.
They pull out their swords. They abandon their. They're like, all right, we're done with these ranged weapons. Let's fight with. We get like a Star Wars. They fight with their lightsabers.
Well, because notably when Tall Geese shows up, because they're like, oh, there's a high-speed unit approaching from blah blah blah, and he's like, oh, there's the Gundam. I'll go, and I should be able to intercept it midway.
Yeah.
And he goes to intercept it, and notably, Hiro is like, this is not in any of the normal databases.
Yeah, he scans the database. He's like, unknown Oz weapon. That's weird.
I guess I'll destroy it. And then Troa's like, you do that. I'm gonna go do the OBJ.
Yeah, Troa very much just is like, I'm gonna keep blowing up the stuff we're here to blow up. I don't really care about it. Like, he actually has Zex in his sights and is like, nah. That is their distraction Carnifex. Like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. This fight goes on for a bit. It looks like the Gundams are winning.
Yeah. I mean, they are winning.
Yeah, well, they are.
Overall,
winning.
They're definitely winning on objectives.
Yeah.
And the fight between Zex and Hiro is it's definitely going Hiro's way after a while.
Yeah.
He loses his weapon arm specifically.
Yeah. And then that's when Lady N pulls out
like,
her
this is why I
card.
actually can't win. Because Knowing is like, we need to back them up. And she's like, no, this is actually my plan the whole time.
And this is where she rips her own mask off in a way.
Sure does. She calls up everyone and is like, so by the way, when we took over, like, the Alliance military, we took all of their, like, anti-orbital satellites, and I've now aimed all their missiles at the colonies, and if y'all don't stop fighting
now,
and
Mr.
surrender...
Bond, if you don't surrender, I will fire the missiles at the colonies.
I mean, it's more like the Riddler, right? Like,
yeah.
You must choose between the school bus of children and the love of your life, Mary Jane!
Yeah. That's not the Riddler either.
Anyway, it
it's
doesn't...
It's the Green Goblin, but
Sure, Green Goblin. Whatever.
Mixed up franchises. That's gonna get some fun in the comments.
I'm sure. Anyway, they but yeah, she's I'm gonna start blowing up colonies if you don't all surrender. And they're like, oh, that.
Nobody is happy with this
Nobody
plan.
likes this plan. Like, Nguyen is like, do not fire those missiles. That's insane.
Well, because notably, they stop moving, but then they're like, ma'am, they stopped moving, but they're not getting out. And she's like, then fire a missile at a colony.
You
I don't
pick
care
a colony,
which.
I don't care which, and destroy it. And yeah, Nguyen is like, don't do that. Like, we're trying to defeat a military opponent, not, like, murder civilians. And notably, like, because again, we got that discussion with Trey's 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
About, like, he didn't want her to nuke a military base. Now she's gonna blow up an entire colony full of civilians, right?
Yeah, like,
and Nguyen is like, Trey's. They started calling him like Your Excellency, which is funny. He's like the what is it, Supreme Chancellor or whatever. Won't like this. Like, this is a bad plan.
Yeah. Trey's will not be down with you causing mass casualty events.
Right. And there's a lot of back and forth of like, fire the missile, don't fire, like do it, belay that order. Like, it's just, you know, classic sort of bit. Military drama. And ultimately the result of this is that the Dr. J calls up and is like,
he claims responsibility for the terrorist attacks.
Yeah, I claim responsibility for the terrorist attacks. It's all me. I give myself up. Fair enough. Don't destroy the colonies. And Hiro is like, okay, well, that was my boss, and he's giving up.
So I better blow myself up along with my Gundam.
There's a discussion of like he says, I give up, and Un says back to him like, okay, then surrender your Gundams. And he's like, I'll give up, but I'm not gonna let you have the Gundams. And Hiro takes that as, blow my Gundam up.
Yeah.
Which he does.
And he looks
ostensibly
dead.
Killing him. He is hurled from the Gundam, and there's blood on the ground. It's like the most advanced animation in the entire show so far.
And notably not completely destroyed the Gundam.
No, but as we'll find out in the next episode, destroyed all the important parts, apparently.
Yeah.
All the internals blew up, which is apparently the, like, advanced technology.
Yeah, they already knew how to do Gundanium plating.
Right, exactly. That's not a secret. What's secret is how they made it work without
killing the pilot.
Yeah. But yeah, so that happens. It's the end of the episode, right? The other Gundams run away. Yeah, the other Gundams are like, well, I mean,
Troa,
we can't fight.
Not Troa, Ketra has like a breakdown.
Ketra like has a heart attack.
He has like a heart attack and has like a weird psychic thing where he like catches the thoughts of.
It's unclear if he was actually hearing that or that was just a like televisual medium thing.
It was very weird.
I don't think he's actually psychically hearing their thoughts. I think
he is having a heart attack.
They were overlaying it for dramatic
He is clutching his chest.
Yes, he's clutching his chest, having a heart attack, and then his lover, Troa Barton, calls him up and is like, we have to get out of here. And he's like, okay.
Okay, heart attack over.
I'm done.
Yeah. And then notably, Troa grabs Hito.
Yeah, Troa grabs... it just doesn't grab Ketra, grabs Hiro. Hiro's body, not the mech. And then Duo and Ketra retreat
together. With the Magwanaut Corps.
Yes. Which will be relevant in the next episode. Yes. But yeah, it's
Wu Fei is still longingly staring at his Gundam, we presume.
We presume. we won't see him for a while,
No, we will not.
which is fine. That's okay. That's good. The show's better for it.
Yeah, end of episode 10.
Yep.
Episode 11. So, no intro blurb this time.
Yeah, which is clearly like the dramatic tension is rising, and they don't want to like interrupt it. Right, like we're straight in.
The narrator makes an appearance in this episode. It's just much later.
Yes.
Instead, what we get is a pair of planes, prop planes, notably. Like these are like C-130s, looking for Duo,
Yes.
who is hidden in the woods, and he notices a light signal from
the woods that will be next to a desert. That's actually the geography of this doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. But notably, Ketra helps Duo bail, essentially.
Yeah, because notably, when I say, like, what I'm confused about these, but these are, like, evergreen woods.
Yeah.
Like he's
These
got
are, like,
pine trees
pine
around
trees.
him.
Yeah.
And they are going to very briefly, like, because the whole thing is they can't escape because they're surrounded. But within this surrounding perimeter, there is both a pine forest and a desert. And like the Sahara, like sand. It's
Yeah. Like we're not talking like the
confused.
Atacama Desert where it's...
yeah. This is not
Or
some
like
technical desert.
Arizona,
This is the like.
It's the Sahara.
When they say that they're in the Middle East specifically,
Yeah.
so basically, I would like to know where this dense Middle Eastern pine forest is.
Me too.
There are like evergreen trees in the Middle
Yeah,
East,
but it's like in the
But
mountains.
this is like a dense northern pine forest.
This is like the forests of northern Michigan where I grew up.
Right. Oh, yeah, or like Europe somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It's like, where in the Middle East did you find this? Maybe it's a global warming thing. I don't know.
Who can say? What we can say is that it does cut briefly to Zex and Noin recovering Wing Gundam.
Yes.
That's when they mentioned that all the...
they exploded.
And
all
Zex
the-
is like, hey Noin, can I take this to the Lake Victoria base and fix it up?
Yeah, and she's
Noin's
like,
sure, but why?
yeah, she's like, why do you want to do that? And it's like, maybe because my other mech kills me when I pilot it?
Yeah,
It's-
like...
She comments about how sad it is that it's been reduced to scrap. And it's like, yeah, that's how being exploded works.
That's what self-destruct sequences are supposed to do.
Consistently has, like, weird philosophical takes about very normal things.
Yeah.
Right? This thing exploded. I'm gonna salvage it. Oh, such a sad fate for, like, a noble machine. Like, okay.
Yeah, sure, Noin. Anyway,
yeah,
Lake
anyway.
Victoria base, that's where we want to take this.
Right.
Anyway, then we cut to Lady Un apologizing to Trey's in his office, because notably, at the very end of that episode,
Oh, yeah.
Trey's calls Noin,
Yeah, Trace calls Noin and is like,
get Lady Un under control, presumably.
we don't know what he says. We don't hear him. Noin just says,
Yeah.
hey, Lady Un, I have the, like, Supreme Commander God Emperor on the line.
And Lady Un's like, give that to me.
And
She's
Lady Un's like, give me the headphone. And she, like, blocks her hand and is like,
he says...
no.
Yeah.
He says, be nice.
Yeah, basically. He says, be nice.
I can't remember exactly.
be
You
more
need to be more
graceful.
gracious.
Graceful. Literally graceful.
This is gracious.
No, they say graceful.
Okay.
It's a very Trace thing to say instead of gracious, but it is graceful.
Anyway, but yeah, so she's been chastened. Oh, she also had a big long rant when they were... This is important to Lady Un's character. When they were yelling about whether or not to fire the missiles, she's like, who cares about the, like, ungrateful peasant colonies? They all deserve to die anyway. Like, she went full, like...
Yeah.
Racist.
Like, yeah. She is very against the Spacians.
Yeah, she is a space racist.
Yeah.
Good job, Lady Un. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, back to present day, where she's apologizing to Trace. She's like,
And
I
Trey's just like, whatever,
was
don't worry
wrong,
about it.
and he's like, it's fine.
It's not like any of the colonies actually got blown up.
Right, you didn't actually fire any missiles. Then I might, like, shoot you in the head. But you didn't, so it's okay. Twice now you've tried to murder a massive number of people, but you haven't succeeded either time, so I'm gonna overlook that.
Also, I'm going to need you to go to Moscow. All of our financial backers are in Moscow. He doesn't say financial backers.
No.
He says a lot of people who are, like, important to Oz are in Moscow.
Which it turns out is, like, the opposite of the case, but okay.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. But yeah, he sends her to Moscow to, like, make a public... She's being sent to the colonies? After her racist rant. It's okay. Maybe on, like, some sort of apology tour. It's not an apology tour.
Well, that racist rant wasn't caught by any of the colonies.
See, you say that, but people act like they know what she was doing. Like, that whole scene, because people act like they know she tried to blow up the colonies.
Well, that part they know. Well, or a lot of people know. They didn't catch the rant. She wasn't on comms when she did that rant. She did that rant specifically to Noin.
Okay.
Well, because it was that whole thing where because notably another important part of her character was in that where she talks about how she's the only one who understands trays.
Yeah, which is just objectively incorrect.
No, she does not understand trays at all.
No. She, in fact...
On any level, really.
I mean, one could argue that she actually understands trays very well, except that, like, she doesn't understand that he's trying to be subtle.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, she understands his aims, but not necessarily the means that he wishes for those aims to be achieved.
Yeah, exactly. Like...
Yeah.
Oh, it's very...
Anyhow, we'll see Relena at an airport with an interview of Lady Anna on a television going on. And
there's a Lady Anna's wearing, like, a rose on her uniform.
Yeah, on her lapel.
Yeah, which, okay, that's fun. But Relena is like, that rose doesn't suit you, you bitch.
And then turns the TV
And then
off.
turns the TV.
Very slowly.
Very, like, pointedly, like, click.
Yeah. And then we immediately cut to her going to a party. We think she's going, and we've seen her go to fancy parties before, so it's suddenly, we soon quickly find out she's crashing this party.
She is, in fact, crashing a party. She walks up, the guy's like, "Do you have an invitation, ma'am?" She says no and starts to walk past
It just
him.
keeps going. She doesn't break stride. She doesn't even stop moving.
Straight up gig. And he's like, "I can't let you in. This party is invitation only." And then this dude...
Marquis Wayrich.
Yeah, Marquis Wayrich.
He'll kind of come into play later.
He's an old man in a uniform. He recognizes her and is like, "Oh, she's with me. Like, she can come in. It's fine."
Yeah.
And then she gets to the party. It's fine.
Marquis Wayrich discusses with her a little bit about her family. Her former family, rather.
He explained he was a big supporter of, like, the Peacecrafts. And she's like, "You knew the Peacecrafts?" And he's like, "Yes, they were totally dedicated to peace." And she gets a little more explanation of, like, why they were wiped out here, because she didn't know that.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, their peaceful nature was, like, in opposition to the Alliance. The Alliance wants to solve its
issues
agenda through conflict, and they were proposing peace, so they had to die."
It was also, I think if I remember correctly, there was a few regions that the Alliance really wanted to get control of. And because these regions they were being pacifists.
Right. It's basically the Alliance made an example of them. That is essentially what happened.
It's a interesting development.
Right. Which leans back into why Zex thinks that the members of the Alliance didn't have a choice in joining the Alliance.
Right.
Which is fair.
He thinks because his country got essentially crushed under boot.
Right. They all did. Which, from what we saw, at least of the current Alliance, that was not really how they ran things.
No.
In fact, Trey specifically had to murder all the leaders because they were too peaceful. Like,
because they were down checking they wanted to down check most of their military force.
They were actively under attack, and were like, "No, we can still make peace. Let's not fight back.
We can make peace, and we want to put together a disarmament plan."
Right. Like, it's fascinating.
Anyhow,
but anyway, they definitely did do this
thing
thing where they wiped out this kingdom. So
while that discussion is happening, we get a quick scene of some Osguards in Leo's showing up.
Yeah, they show up at the party.
And then Marquis Wayridge talks about how he wants to know what Oz is up to.
Yeah, he's here to meet. He wants to meet with Trey's, but Trey's has sent a representative instead. This is Lady Ann.
Q said Representative Lady Ann.
Yeah.
Walking down the stairs with Sturmtruppen behind her.
Sure is.
And notably, her and her Waffen SS buddies are coming down the stairs.
They're her personal bodyguards. It's not that weird.
No, it's not. It's not.
She's a major figure in a government that is still actively as enemies.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if this scene were in a World War II movie, it would be a Gestapo agent with two Waffen SS.
Yeah. The band stops playing. She tells them to keep playing.
I'm a guest too.
Yeah.
So, well, nobody likes you here, though, lady.
Nobody likes you here.
And we will find out that nobody likes her here because she goes up, exchanges some barbs with Marquis Wayridge.
Yeah, and he's like, "Can I have the rose on your uniform to give to my granddaughter?" Notably, Relena is not his granddaughter. They're just bullshitting.
And she goes granddaughter. And then, presumably because...
She's like, "Oh, wait, that's Relena."
and then she's like, "Relena Peacecraft," and then Relena Peacecraft says a hard-ass line here.
She's like, "Roses don't look good on me anyway. You,
I vastly prefer to be soaked in the blood of Oz."
Yeah.
And then she pulls a gun.
And tries to shoot Lady Ann.
And shoots the rose off
the rose off her chest instead, which is... It's very impressive that she did that and didn't hit Lady Ann.
Or either of the bodyguards who are standing right at her shoulder.
Well, it's where she was facing her chest on, and the rose is on her chest, and she hits... The bullet, deflects off the rose. It's apparently a bulletproof rose.
No, because she dodges to the side as soon as she sees Relena going for the gun. It shoots, across a line, dragging across her chest almost, and hits the rose and disintegrates the rose.
Anyway, regardless, then Relena runs away.
Some innocent member of the band got hit by that bullet, by the way.
But her...
I'm sure.
Her assassination has failed, and she runs away.
Yeah. So then
then Lady Ann tries to go chase her, and all of the party guests are like, "No, you're the worst. Fuck off!" And
we're all big fans of that girl.
Yeah. And Lady Ann just kind of runs away. It's like, "Oh, I
thwarted again." Shakes fist.
She's learning. Because she could have her guards, open up on them.
Yeah, machine gun them all.
I've been yelled at twice now for attempting mass casualty events. Maybe we should just leave.
Yeah. It's slow, but she's learning. Anyway, this actually then cuts to the desert, where Duo and Ketra visit Arab stereotype land.
They sure do. This is almost offensive.
It's almost a caricature. It's borderline caricature.
In particular, the one leader character he's a short, fat man with a turban.
And the leader of this village, notably.
Yeah, the leader of this village or whatever.
Yeah.
And we find out that this is where the Mongol Corps is from. This is the Middle Eastern Free States. They never joined the alliance.
The brave forces of the Mujahideen.
Sure, whatever.
Well, it was okay. So brief reference to what I'm talking about, or explanation for what I mean by that. So pre 9/11.
Yeah, pre 9/11. There were these freedom fighters
who were fighting the Soviets.
We're fighting the Russians in Afghanistan. that the United States was giving weapons to, and so U.S. media was very positive towards
Western media in general, because notably also the Bond movies.
The Bond movies do have a movie that they're in Living Daylights.
I want to say it was Living Daylights. It was the first Timothy Dalton one.
Media is they're also in Rambo.
Yeah,
right. Rambo 3.
Rambo. That's where the line comes from.
Yeah.
At the end, it goes, "This is dedicated to the brave fighters of the Mujahideen."
Yeah. And so in this time period, like this is why this is like this basically. Is yes, the brave independent Middle Eastern nations
standing up to the fascist
state. Like, sure, that opinion will change after 9/11 pretty rapidly. Not trying to say that either caricature is correct.
No.
But this is clearly pre 9/11 media. This dates the show really hard.
Yeah.
And again, also they're kind of a stereotype, right? Like the leader guy in particular is a real Middle Eastern stereotype. As are the belly dancers.
Yeah, they like every woman in this village is apparently a belly dancer. Yeah, they're all dressed like belly dancers.
They're all dressed like Jasmine from Aladdin. Every single one of them.
Yes.
Which is also like, look, I don't know how familiar you are with people from Middle Eastern countries. Most of them, it's far more prevalent to be, conservative, religious cultures. A bunch of almost nude women dancing around their town is like, again, it's a caricature that the West has. It's not really accurate to their culture. Right. Because it'd be more like India, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird. It's very this time period. Again, this is Aladdin is made around this time period too, right? And is kind of similar. That's whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so Duo and Ketra have a discussion about how, basically they go over they compare notes and their initial briefing before they even left the colonies, and it is word for word the same.
Yes.
And they realize, so we were all deployed. Presumably the other Gundam pilots also had the exact same set of orders.
Correct. And the important part of this orders that they go over is there's a bit of the orders where they're supposed to, ignore the fate of the colonies and attack Oz regardless.
Yes.
Which they totally didn't do. But, and they're kind of impressed because Hiro kind of went through with that, I guess, in a way that they didn't, sort of.
Yeah.
They think he did.
They also think he's dead. I don't know why Duo thinks he's dead.
Yeah, Duo knows he has magic regeneration powers. He watched him, jump out of a skyscraper.
Off a cliff.
Off a cliff.
Double height jumping thing.
But anyway. They
discuss this, and then Oz crashes
the party. They've found this secret town in the desert. They hide all the soldiers, again, standard,
because they have an underground,
they have an underground base. They have an underground base under this town. And so they hide all the soldiers, and the Oz troops show up, and are like, aha, they talk to the leader of the town. Leader of the town's like, oh, we're just totally peaceful. Can we hang out here and have some food and water? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then they plant bombs all over the town.
20 bombs.
Set
to go off at midnight.
Yep.
Can't be moved.
And if you move them, they explode.
Sure. Which, there's anti-tamper devices
on
them.
That's totally.
And I guess they didn't have a trained EOD guy to try and...
Or there's just too many of them, or they
knows?
Just...
Anyway,
really what it is that Oz has found this town. This town is no longer useful anyway. Right?
And notably, they do get the civilians out, because they're like, look...
Yeah, we can't move the bombs, we can move the civilians. Probably easier.
And so there's a whole speech from the leader of the Magwanaut Corps.
Yeah, what's important here is that the Gundams are their heroes. Because one of the things that sort of Duo and Ketra have been struggling with is that, like, if they go out and keep fighting, like, they're risking the colonies being blown up. And basically what's communicated here is, no, these are the hero, like, the Gundams are the heroes of the people. We are willing to die for your fight, right? And everybody cheers.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good speech.
It's a good speech. The bombs go off. And
nobody's in the town. We evacuated the town before the Saiyan attack.
Yeah. And the ground opens up, and the strategy is they're going to focus on one part of the cordon.
Yeah, classic breaking out of an encirclement. They're gonna attack one spot with all of their troops so that they can make a hole and get everybody out. And in the meantime, they're going to load the Gundams onto a couple of carriers.
A couple of Oz carriers that they came in on.
They're going to steal the Oz carriers because
and then blow up
Oz
the rest.
cannot manage to secure their carriers.
No, those Oz carriers might as well just be like, one of these days we're gonna see in the background shot of like something an Oz carrier on cinder blocks.
Yeah, right. Their tires stolen. Yeah. But yeah, they're going to steal these Oz carriers and they're going to get the Gundams out. They're going to fight a rearguard action. They're going to get the Gundams out because the Gundams are more important than everybody else. Which is fair.
Yeah.
And then they do that. It's a good action scene. It's fun. There's a lot of fighting. Yeah. The Magwanaut Corps kick ass. Like, as much ass as all the Gundams do. Like, it's actually kind of embarrassing for Oz. And also just like, maybe we didn't need the Gundams. Maybe we just needed better pilots.
Yeah, maybe we just
because the Magwanaut Corps trash Oz, like absolutely dumpster.
They take like 1 or 2 suit casualties,
if that. No, because like one of the Magwanaut Corps mechs gets hit and doesn't go down.
No, but there was like really early on at the beginning of the battle, like one of the suits gets shot. Like one of their weird like hover tank.
They have these weird tank suits that don't need to be a mobile suit. They could just be a tank.
Yeah, they're just like really tall hover tanks. Really,
they're just a tall tank.
And one of those gets destroyed.
Yeah. But yeah, they take basically no casualties.
Also, they do state that there are exactly 40 members of.
There sure are exactly 40.
It is literally
Ketra Reburba Winner and his 40 thieves.
Yeah.
It's not subtle.
No.
This is also a duo. We skipped over Duo and Ketra introducing themselves to each other. He's like, I'm Ketra Reburba Winner. He's like, oh, Winner? Like the heir to the like Winner fortune?
Yeah.
And Ketra's like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and then Duo states that he may run and hide, but he'll never tell a lie.
Yeah, which we'll see. Maybe. It's possible.
I mean, he hasn't lied yet.
That's true. He's been an honest dude so far. Still weird that he dresses like a priest.
It is. He will continue to dress like that.
It's just how he dresses.
That is his standard outfit. So yeah, so they get everyone out. The Gundams get out, everyone out. Duo shoots some people on the way out from the carrier with like a bazooka that was on the carrier.
Yeah, I don't know.
They had a spare and didn't bring it, I guess.
It's like Gundam sized though. It's not.
Well, it's not, but it's not part of like you'll never see the Gundams use that ever again.
Correct.
Oh, that's fun. Anyway.
Yeah, but no, you'll never see him use it again. But it is like gigantic. I don't know why they would have had a Gundam-sized bazooka on the carrier. But also, yeah, he doesn't have one ever again. So,
and then we cut to Relena trying to escape the Oz chasers.
Yep. And they're like, she gets caught.
Yeah, she gets caught immediately.
But yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah, she's one girl running in heels.
Yeah, she's one girl running in heels, and they have mobile suits. Like, it's not. She does not evade them.
Well, then Noin arrives.
Noin arrives and is like, I'm taking the prisoner.
And they're like, excuse you, we're on orders from Colonel Un.
Yeah. Yeah, who is a colonel now, notably?
She's been a colonel for about an episode or two.
Yeah.
Now. But yeah, Noin then shoots the guy's hat off of his head. Notably hits the the part that's directly in front of the guy's forehead, and it doesn't
just knocks his hat off.
It doesn't go through the hat.
Oz has bulletproof hats.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. Well, she hits like that emblem on it, the Oz emblem on it. No, she does. She doesn't knock it off first. She hits it first to knock it off his head. Presumably that was thick enough to deflect the bullet from penetrating.
Who knows?
Anyway, knocks the guy's head off with one shot. And then she says to Relena, Relena asks her, "Oh, you're just a member of Oz?" Basically, is like,
yeah. After the soldiers leave, like, they're like, I guess on the authority of your pistol, we're gonna let you have her. Like, there's 2 mobile suits standing there. This is not a threat of, like, violence.
No.
It's very weird, because again, they should just shoot her with their mobile suits. Like, this pistol isn't a threat. But it's odd. But anyway, she takes, they leave. They're like, okay, I guess we'll let you have Relena. And then she's like, you're just an Oz soldier, aren't you? And Noin shoots the emblem off of the cap.
Yeah. Very good shot.
Excellent shot.
Noin is a very
doesn't even
good
put
shot.
a hole in the hat.
No. She smirks and shoots the thing off the cap, and then like kneels to Relena or something like that.
That's just how the episode ends.
That's right.
Just shoots the logo off the hat. Like, I guess I hate Oz now.
Yeah. Betrayal number 4.
Yeah, this is a weird this will be a betrayal as of next episode, but right now it's just kind of a weird, I guess you're not with Oz, probably because you were opposed to them blowing the colonies up.
Yeah.
We assume. That makes sense. Noin has always been very, like, I'm in this conflict because it's, like, righteous.
And the cause is no longer righteous.
Yes, it turns out Lady Un's awful.
That is it for episode 11. That's it for this episode. We will catch you next episode.
Yeah.
Peace.
See ya.